Good morning, students. All of you must have gone through the brief description of development of periodic table. It was contribution from many scientists. The greatest contribution was from Mendeleev. He, as such, made a table which was further divided into periods and groups. He is also known as father of the periodic table. Now, based on the modern periodic law, we have this long form of the periodic table. This periodic table is further divided into 18 vertical columns which are known as groups and 7 horizontal rows which are known as periods. So this is how your periodic table looks like. You can see your vertical columns, groups 1 to 3 to 12 and 13 to 18, and you can see horizontal rows which are known as periods. For the purpose of better understanding, your periodic table is again divided into 4 blocks. You can see in the diagram that extreme left hand side containing group number 1 and 2 belong to S block. Extreme right hand side, group number 13 to 18 belong to P block. In the middle, group number 3 to 12 belong to D block. And all of you must have seen that at the base of periodic table, there are 2 horizontal rows containing 14 elements each. You know these are also known as lanthanoids and actinoids. These belong to F block. Now the questions are how periodic table is divided into SPDF blocks, why these are named as SPDF blocks, what is the criteria for placing a particular element in a particular block. Now all these questions we are going to discuss afterwards because these blocks require understanding of the electronic configuration of elements, which is a part of unit number 2. So first we'll discuss how to write electronic configuration of elements, and then we'll discuss placing of a particular element in a particular block in our classroom teaching. Now let's begin with the periodic properties or periodic trends in the properties of elements. Now there is one word, periodicity. What is the meaning of periodicity? It means when elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic numbers, elements with similar properties are repeated after regular interval. So what is the meaning of periodic? Repetition of a particular thing after a regular interval. There are several physical properties of elements which show regular increase or decrease with atomic number. These properties you have learnt in 10th class that as we move down the group, metallic character increases. As we move from left to right, non-metallic character increases. As we move down the group, melting points and boiling points increase. So these physical properties regularly increase or decrease in the periodic table. That's why these properties are known as periodic properties. Now out of these periodic properties, we are going to discuss the following properties in this chapter. The first is atomic size. Second is ionization enthalpy. Third is electron gain enthalpy. Fourth property is electronegativity. Fifth property is valency. First we are going to discuss atomic size in detail. Now what is the meaning of atomic size? If atom is assumed to be spherical, atomic size means the radius of a sphere, and it is also known as atomic radius. Now see, this center is your nucleus. Your nucleus is surrounded by a number of shells. So what is atomic radius? Atomic radius means distance from nucleus to the outermost shell containing electrons. So this is atomic radius and it is also atomic size. Now is it possible to measure atomic size or atomic radius of a particular atom? No, it is very difficult. What are the reasons? First, atom is very small in size. The magnitude of atomic radius is of the order of 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So atoms are very small in size. Second, atoms do not have well-defined boundaries. Third, It is not possible to isolate an atom. We know that atoms do not exist alone. They make bonds. Atoms are more stable in the bonded state. Suppose if I want to measure the size of hydrogen atom, it is not possible for me to locate a single hydrogen atom because hydrogen is more stable in the form of H2. So we do not find isolated atom, we find bonded atom. So it is not possible to measure the exact size of atom. Now what to do? It can be determined by measuring the distance between the centers of two neighboring atoms in a molecule. So it is possible for us to measure the atomic radius in bonded state. Okay, so depending upon the type of bonding which a particular element is making, atomic radius can be expressed in three types. Basically three types. So first is covalent radius. Covalent radius we calculate for non-metals which show covalent bonding. You know the meaning of covalent bonding? A bond which is formed by sharing of electrons. The second is metallic radius. We calculate this for metals. Metals have a particular type of bonding which is known as metallic bonding. Now third is van der Waals radius. This we calculate for noble gases. Since noble gas do not make any kind of bond, they exist as monoatomic only. There was a scientist, van der Waals. He first of all said that although noble gases do not make any kind of bond, but there are still some weak forces of attractions which operate between the atoms of noble gases, and he called them as van der Waals forces. So for noble gases we are going to measure van der Waals radius. Now the first is how to measure covalent radius. Now this diagram is showing covalent bonding. These are two atoms and this is covalently bonded molecule. Now this is first nucleus of first atom, this is the nucleus of second atom, and this is internuclear distance. Now how to measure covalent radius? It is internuclear distance divided by 2. So 1/2 of this internuclear distance will give you the measure of covalent radius. Suppose this is hydrogen molecule. So in this case internuclear distance is 74 picometer. So what is the radius of hydrogen atom, or what is the atomic size of hydrogen atom? It is 37 picometer, although it is not the exact value, but this technique will give us approximate ideas. The second is metallic radius. Metals have close packing of atoms, and this close packing of atoms is known as metallic lattice. The atoms are held together by metallic bonds. So you can see the diagram. These are two metal atoms. Again, this is internuclear distance. Internuclear distance we can easily measure by X-ray diffraction techniques, electron spectroscopic techniques. Okay, so again metallic radius is 1/2 of internuclear distance. Suppose it is copper, so radius of copper atom can be, this is 256 picometer divided by 2, that is 128 picometer. Now third is van der Waals radius. Now suppose these are two atoms of a noble gas. Now they are not making any kind of bond, but still some force of attraction is there between the two, which is van der Waals radius. Now internuclear distance we can easily measure. So what is van der Waals radius? 1/2 of the internuclear distance. Now compare the three different type of atomic radii. We can easily say that out of these three radii, for a particular element, van der Waals radius is largest, then comes your metallic radius, and then comes your covalent radius. Now we have to discuss variation of atomic size in periodic table. And first we are going to discuss the variation of atomic size in a period. Now this is my second period. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. And we have learned that in 10th class that as we move from left to right in a period, the atomic size decreases. Now listen very carefully. As we move from left to right, the atomic size decreases up to halogens. Means as we move from lithium to fluorine, the atomic size will decrease. but again this size increases in case of neon. So again for noble gases the atomic size increases. Now what is the reason behind this? First, as we move from left to right, there is increase in the nuclear charge. What is the meaning of nuclear charge? Nuclear charge means number of protons. You can see lithium +3, beryllium +4, boron +5. These are the number of protons. Carbon +6, nitrogen +7, oxygen +8, fluorine +9 and neon +10. So nuclear charge is continuously increasing, and what this increased nuclear charge is doing, now this increased nuclear charge is attracting the shells towards the nucleus. So the shells will contract and atomic size decreases. But one question arises here, as we move from left to right, the number of protons are increasing, but along with increase in number of protons, the number of electrons are also increasing. So why they are not neutralizing each other? The answer is the number of protons are increasing, the number of electrons are also increasing, but the electrons are filled in the same shell. So the increased nuclear charge is not neutralized by the extra electrons because they are filled in the same shell. So as a result, from left to right, the atomic size decreases. After halogens, the atomic radius increase in case of noble gas. Now listen very carefully. For all the other elements, we either calculate metallic radius or covalent radius. But for noble gases, we have only van der Waals radius to measure. And we have learned that out of these three types of radii, van der Waals radius is the largest. So for noble gases, we can measure only van der Waals radius. So noble gases are larger. Means after halogens, your atomic size will increase for noble gases. Now comes variation of atomic size in a group. As we move down the group, this also we have learned that atomic size increases. So we are moving down the group, the atomic size is continuously increasing. What is the reason? This is because of increase in the number of shells. Second period will be having 2 shells, third period will be having 3 shells, 4 shells, 5 shells, and atomic radius is the distance from nucleus to the outermost shell. So as the number of shells increases, the distance increases and atomic size also increases. Now this increase in the number of shells is more pronounced than the effect of increasing nuclear charge. So atomic size will increase. Now the second is increase in screening effect or shielding effect. Now this topic is new for you. So what is the meaning of shielding effect? Now see, these are the 3 diagrams which are showing the electronic distribution in lithium, sodium and potassium. This is lithium, +3 is the nuclear charge. The configuration is 2-1, 2 shells are there. Sodium +11 is the nuclear charge, 2-8-1. Now lithium, sodium and potassium belong to the same group. Potassium +19 is the nuclear charge, 2-8-8-1. Now you can see it is having only 2 shells, it is having 3 shells, it is having 4 shells. So number of shells are increasing in a group. Now as we move down the group, what happens? All the elements have same number of valence electrons. What is the meaning of valence? Valence means outermost. So lithium is having outermost 1 electron, sodium is having 1 electron in the valence shell, and potassium is also having 1 electron in the valence shell. But you can see the number of inner electrons are increasing. It is having only 2 inner electrons, it is 10 and it is 18. Now what these inner electrons do? These inner electrons shield the outer electron from nuclear attraction. Therefore, the outermost electron does not feel the full charge of nucleus. And as a result of this, what will happen? The outermost shell will move away and away from nucleus, and therefore the size will increase. So down the group, 2 factors are working together. First is number of shells, which is also increasing the size. The second factor is increase in the shielding effect, which is due to increase in the number of inner electrons. So down the group your atomic size increases, and from left to right your atomic size decreases, except for noble gases, because for noble gases we measure van der Waals radius. So this is all about the variation of atomic size in the periodic table, that is in a period and in a group. So this is all for today, And in the next class we are going to discuss another type of radius, that is ionic radius, means radius of an ion. You know there are two types of ions, cation and anion. So we have to discuss that what happens to the atomic size if an atom loses the electron, and what happens to the atomic size when an atom gains an electron. Thank you. Good morning dear students. In the last class we discussed the meaning of atomic size, types of atomic radii, and the variation in atomic size in period and group. Now today let's discuss ionic radius, that is what happens to the size of an atom when it changes to an ion. Now the ions are formed by loss of electron and gain of electron. When electrons are lost, cation is formed, which is positively charged, and when electrons are gained, anion is formed, which is negatively charged. Now depending upon the number of electrons lost or gained, the ion will acquire the respective charge. Now consider the formation of a cation. Suppose this is sodium atom, and this sodium atom is having 11 protons and 11 electrons. This sodium atom is losing an electron and it is changing to a cation Na+. The number of protons are still same, 11, but the number of electrons are now 10. Now the number of protons is also known as nuclear charge. So listen carefully. In case of neutral sodium atom, 11 protons are attracting 11 electrons. 11 protons in the center, they are attracting 11 electrons. So the nuclear attraction will be 1 per electron, that is 11 protons, 11 electrons. But in case of cation Na+, now 11 protons are attracting 10 electrons. So the nuclear attraction will be more than 1 for 1 electron. So we can say that when Na changes to Na+, the effective nuclear charge, which is also denoted by Z effective, per electron will increase, because here the effective nuclear charge per electron is 1 and here the effective nuclear charge per electron is more than 1. Therefore the electrons are pulled towards the nucleus and size decreases. Suppose if an atom loses 2 electrons, this effective nuclear charge will further decrease because the protons are same, and this effective nuclear charge will further increase because the protons are same and electrons are continuously decreasing, and size will decrease. So we can say that radius of cation is smaller than that of parent atom. So the size of Na+ is less than Na. Now consider the formation of an anion. Suppose this is my neutral chlorine atom. It is gaining 1 electron and it is changing to Cl-. The neutral chlorine atom is having 17 protons and 17 electrons. But the anion is having protons still 17 and the number of electrons are 18. So in case of neutral chlorine atom, 17 protons are attracting 17 electrons. So the nuclear attraction will be 1 per electron. And here 17 protons are now attracting 18 electrons. Now the number of electrons are more than protons. So nuclear attraction will be less than 1 per electron now. So we can say that effective nuclear charge per electron is reduced. The electrons are held less tightly by the nucleus and size increases. So we can say that radius of anion is larger than parent atom. So what we are concluding from this topic, that when an atom loses an electron, the size decreases, and when an atom gains an electron, the size increases. Now we are moving to the next topic, and that is variation of size in an isoelectronic series. You must have learned isotopes, isobars, isotones. Now what are these isoelectronics? Isoelectronics are those atoms or ions of different elements having same number of electrons. Since they belong to different elements, the nuclear charge or number of protons are different. So what is the meaning of isoelectronics? Those species which have same number of electrons. They can be atoms, they can be ions. Now this is my isoelectronic series. belonging to second and third period. Now first is N3 minus. 3 minus means it has gained 3 electrons. O2 minus, that is oxygen atom, has gained 2 electrons. F minus, 1 electron it has gained. This is neon, noble gas. This is Na plus, sodium has lost 1 electron. Mg2 plus, that is 2 electrons are lost, and Al3 plus, that is 3 electrons are lost. Now let's discuss about the number of protons or nuclear charge. Atomic number of nitrogen is 7, so nuclear charge will be plus 7. Oxygen atomic number is 8, so nuclear charge is plus 8. Fluorine atomic number is 9, so nuclear charge is plus 9. Neon it is 10, sodium it is 11, magnesium it is 12, and aluminium it is 13. So from left to right, your nuclear charge is continuously increasing. But the number of electrons are, in case of N3 minus, the number of protons are 7. Now the number of electrons should be 7 if it is neutral, but nitrogen has 3 minus charge, means it has gained 3 electrons. So what will be the total number of electrons in N3 minus? It will be 10. Likewise, in neutral oxygen atom, the number of electrons are 8 because atomic number is 8. So it is having 2 minus charge. So what will be the total number of electrons in O2 minus? 10. Likewise, F minus, the number of electrons are 10, neon 10. Now Na plus, the number of protons are 11. So neutral sodium atom has 11 electrons, but Na plus means 1 electron it has lost. So number of electrons will be 10. Likewise, Mg2 plus 10 electrons, Al3 plus 10 electrons. So all these species are having same number of electrons. This is my isoelectronic series. Now we have to discuss the variation of size in isoelectronic series. Now what happens as you move from left to right? The number of electrons are same, but the number of protons are increasing. And as the number of protons increases, the nuclear attraction increases. The power of nucleus is increasing to attract the electrons. So nuclear charge will increase. We can say that as we move from left to right, the effective nuclear charge increases. Effective nuclear charge, which is denoted by Z effective, that is the power of nucleus, is increasing. And this effective nuclear charge is inversely related to size. Since the Z effective is increasing, therefore the size should decrease. So as we move from left to right in the isoelectronic series, the atomic size decreases. Okay, now let's solve some examples. The first question is, for each of the following pairs, which one is large in size? Now first is K and K plus, second is I and I minus, third is lithium and sodium, and fourth is fluorine and neon. So now let's solve this question first. Now the first question was K and K plus. Now out of K and K plus, I know that cations are smaller in size. So definitely which is having larger size? Potassium, that is K. So the answer of first is K. Now the second is I and I minus. Anions are larger than parent atoms. So definitely I minus is having larger size. Now third question was lithium and sodium. Lithium and sodium belong to same group. And we have learned that as we move down the group, the atomic size increases. So which is having larger size? Sodium. The last was fluorine and neon. And we have learned that after fluorine, in case of noble gas, the atomic size increases. So which is larger in size? Neon. Now the next question. Arrange boron, carbon, aluminium, silicon in the decreasing order of size. Now boron, carbon, aluminium and silicon belong to second and third period. So what we'll do, first we'll arrange them according to their position in the periodic table. I know boron and carbon lie like this. That is, they are in the second period. Boron is first and afterwards carbon comes. Atomic number 5 and 6. Now just below boron, aluminium is there. Atomic number 13. It is in the third period. And after aluminium, silicon comes. Now listen carefully, in 11th class we have to learn atomic numbers up to 30. So try to learn them. So this is the position of boron, carbon, aluminium and silicon in the periodic table. We have also learned that as we move down the group, atomic size increases, and as we move from left to right, the size will decrease. It means now decreasing order is asked. Decreasing means more to less. So which are larger in size? Aluminium and silicon. They are larger in size. Now out of aluminium and silicon, aluminium is bigger. So out of these 4 elements, which is having the largest size? Answer is aluminium. So after aluminium, your silicon will come. Now comes boron and carbon. Out of boron and carbon, which is bigger in size? Definitely boron. So the first will be boron and then carbon. So this is the decreasing order of atomic size of these 4 elements. Now the third question. Which of the following species will have the largest and the smallest size? Now Mg, Mg2+, Al and Al3+. Now how to solve this question? This question is your NCERT book. Now what is the position of magnesium and aluminium in the periodic table? Magnesium and aluminium lie like this. They are in the third period. Magnesium is atomic number 12 and aluminium is atomic number 13. So as we move from magnesium to aluminium, the atomic size will decrease. It means magnesium is larger in size than aluminium. Now we have learned that cations are smaller than parent atoms. So magnesium 2+ is smaller than magnesium and Al3+ is smaller than aluminium. Also Al3+ and Mg2+ are isoelectronics. Just now we have seen. And Al3+ and Mg2+, they are isoelectronics. They have 10 electrons each. But the nuclear charge of aluminium is more, plus 13. So greater is the nuclear charge, smaller will be the atomic size. So Al3+ is smaller in size than Mg2+. So now which is the largest? The largest is your magnesium. And which is the smallest? The smallest is your Al3+. Now there are few assignment questions, okay, for you. Try to solve them, and if any doubt is there, you can ask, you can text me the message. The first assignment question is, arrange the following in the increasing order of size. Increasing order you have to arrange, that is less to more. The first is I+, I-. The second is nitrogen, oxygen and phosphorus. The third question is O- and O2-. And the fourth is silicon, phosphorus and chlorine. So first question and the third question you have to solve by using that radius of cation and radius of anion concept. Second and fourth question, how will you solve them? You will arrange these elements according to their position in the periodic table, and then you will see that how the atomic size increases or decreases. Just now we have solved one question. Now the second assignment question is, which of the following atoms and ions are isoelectronics? Now these are few atoms and ions, and now you have to select isoelectronics out of these. So you will identify which are isoelectronics, and then you will arrange the isoelectronic species in the decreasing order of size. So solve both the questions.